Hey guys, Adam here from Pink Plastic Computers. As requested, I've had quite a few of our customers actually ask me to share my Call of Duty Warzone or Black Ops 7 settings and what I personally have set up on my own gaming rig. And I thought I'd do a quick screen recording of my settings and show you how I set up my Warzone. And before I do that, I'm going to talk you through what my rig is because that's really important. So, my personal rig is an AM5 machine, so it's a Ryzen 5 7600X. So it's very much a kind of mid not high tier, definitely mid tier CPU. It's not a 7800X3D or a 9800X3D or anything like that. It's a 7600X. My personal opinion though, it's one of the best value gaming CPUs out there. I have 32 gig of DDR5, CL30 RAM, which is obviously the sweet spot and fastest for the build, so that can make a bit of a difference. But my graphics card is an RTX 5070. So this is going to really help people if you're rocking an RTX card, whether that be a 5000 series, so a 5060, 5060 Ti, 5070, 5080. I mean, you've got a 5080 or a 5090, you don't even need to worry about that. You're probably playing at a different resolution. It also will help people who are playing with older gen NVIDIA cards like a 3060, 3080, 3090, 4060, etc. So I'm going to go through my settings. Now, I play at 1440p, and that's a key thing here. Um, because when you're playing at 1440p as opposed to say 1080p, your GPU can do a lot more work. Whereas where you're at 1080p, so if you've got a 1080p resolution monitor, your CPU is doing a lot more work. So if you're finding that your CPU is actually getting close to 100%, but your GPU is nowhere near getting to 100%, it's probably because you're playing at 1080p, in which case, honestly, stepping up to 1440p may be a fantastic decision. That would obviously require a new monitor. But I will tell you now from first-hand experience, I played at 1080p for many, many years, and only about 8 months ago did I actually decide to buy myself some new monitors and step up to 1440p. Haven't looked back. I think it's absolutely the sweet spot. I think it's a fantastic resolution to game at. I'm not interested at gaming at 4K. So these are my settings. You'll have to apologise if my audio is a bit funny. I'm absolutely freezing in the build room today. I normally have a little heater on. I completely forgot to turn it on last night. Right, but these are my settings. I digress. So first of all, display mode. I play in full screen borderless. I don't play in full screen exclusive. Most people play in full screen exclusive, but I play in borderless. And the reason why is I have a secondary screen. In fact, I have three screens in total. And my secondary screen is normally what I have my social media channels on, my chats, my Discord, TikTok Live Studio, Tickfinity, all those kind of things. And I find by having full screen borderless, it's so much easier to go from the main gaming screen to my secondary screen. At worst case, I have to just tap the escape key and I can click on that secondary screen. My mouse cursor will move across. It's also important probably to note that I am a controller player on Warzone. I mouse and keyboard in a lot of other games, but Warzone and COD I play as a controller. I've played it for decades and it's just muscle memory. It's what I have. So I actually would recommend if you've got multiple screens, play as full screen borderless. It makes pretty much no difference whatsoever to your gaming performance, but it just makes it so much easier to dive from one screen to the other. Now, what's really handy with all of the Call of Duty games is down here you've got this estimated VRAM usage. Now you can see with my RTX 5070, I actually have 12 gig of VRAM, but you can see here that the way that I've got my game set up, that the amount of VRAM usage is incredibly low. And that is a deliberate move. Because to me, when you're playing games like this, I obviously want it to look good, but it's all about smooth frames per second, decent performance. I like to be hanging out around that kind of 180 to 200 frames per second. And by changing my graphics settings, so it still looks, in my honest opinion, at 1440p, it still looks amazing, but I'm not losing loads of frames per second by making everything look beautiful. And I'd run you through what I've got. So you can see here, full screen borderless, that's my recommendation. I've got two monitors, they're both exactly the same model. One is horizontal, one is vertical. This is my graphics card. Refresh rate, now my screens are a 200 refresh rate. So realistically, I can't physically see anything above 200 frames per second. So if you have got a lower refresh rate screen, there is one setting that I will talk you through that you absolutely need to make sure you do not have on. Display resolution, I'm playing at 1440p. Aspect ratio, keep that at automatic. Don't mess around with this unless you want to get weird lines and black lines above the game. Display gamma, I play at 2.2. Gamma and brightness, all personal preference. It's entirely up to you. Some people like to have this turned right up so that they can actually see things that they probably shouldn't be able to see, just in case that means they see another player earlier. I keep it dead on 50. It's entirely personal preference. NVIDIA Reflex. Okay, so if you have one of the graphics cards that I've mentioned, there is absolutely no harm on having this as on. If you've got a fairly newer card, I also don't see any harm in having this one's on and boost. So if you have a quick read for what it is. So low latency mode, it optimizes system latency. Now again, in a first person shooter, you don't want any latency, you don't want any lagging moments. An on plus boost, so on low latency mode is enabled and optimized system latency. Additionally, GPU clock frequencies are kept high in CPU bound cases, can reduce latency but will increase GPU power draw. Right, so I have mine as on and boost because I've obviously set my VRAM low. I've got a very good graphics card, and if you've got a kind of a slightly bottleneck situation where you are playing at that lower resolution, put this as on plus boost, and that'll actually push the GPU harder and may alleviate some stress from the CPU. So I recommend on or on plus boost. Eco mode preset, I don't use any of these, I use custom. VSync, have this off, okay? VSync does reduce tearing, however it will lock your frame rate to the refresh rate of your monitor. So if you've got a low refresh rate monitor, 60 Hertz, 100 Hertz, maybe even 120, which is nothing wrong with that whatsoever, it will lock your maximum frames to that. So if you're playing an older monitor that's say 60 Hertz, if you put VSync on, doesn't matter what you do with the graphics settings, you're only ever going to get 60 frames per second. Turn that off. VSync menus, turn it off. You don't need VSync in the menus. Custom frame rate limit. Now, you can have it as unlimited if you want. No massive harm in that. But obviously then what the game is doing is it's constantly trying to push for the highest frames per second it can achieve. I actually set mine as custom, and I could set this at 200 frames per second. There's no harm in doing that whatsoever because I have a 200 Hertz refresh rate screen. I actually set it slightly higher. I set it at 250 because the game does, with the settings I've got, creep above 200 fairly often, and I don't see the point in shackling it back. You could, there's no real harm. I do set a frame rate limit in the menus because there's no point in having it, and out of focus I have it as 30. Okay, reduce menu render resolution. I have that as optimal. I don't have it as native. I don't have it as maximum. I just have it as optimal. Pause game recording off. Reduce quality when inactive. That's entirely up to you. I have mine set as 10 minutes. But if you're a streamer that likes to play for hours, turn it off. Focus mode, set that to 0. HDR. Now, first of all, you need a HDR supporting monitor. If you do, which I do, it's up to you, it's personal preference. I personally hate having HDR on. I think it makes some of the colours and the whites just far too intensive, and I think it's not good for your eyes, so I actually have it off. Quality. Graphic preset. I do not use one of the standard presets. I don't use recommended or anything like that. I have it on custom. If you set it as extreme or ultra or anything like that, what it will do is it will make the game look really, really beautiful and put this VRAM usage up. But that will reduce your frames per second. And as I said earlier, to me, it's all about smooth frames per second. So I have mine on custom. And then within there, I do have DLSS on. The two that I recommend are DLSS, okay, which is NVIDIA's, which is, as it says here, NVIDIA's RTX technology, which uses deep learning neural network to boost frame rates and generally generate beautiful sharp images. Okay, I have it on DLSS. I do not have it on DLLA. The other ones that are quite good, if you're an AMD card, AMD FSR, which is the equivalent of DLSS, or Fidelity CAS, is also very good. Then if you go show more, you can choose what presets you want on DLSS. Now, to me, I do actually have it on quality because I've got a 5070. It is a powerful GPU, and that does make the game look a bit more visually pretty. Okay, um, but if you've got a 5060, you may want to change this to performance or even ultra performance. But if you've got a 5070 or above, I would go for quality. If you've got a 5060 or a 4060 or a 3060, go for performance or ultra performance. Okay. DLSS sharpness. Now, this is again personal preference. I don't like it too sharp because I think it makes it look a bit grainy. If you turn it right down, it makes the game look a bit fluffy. I'm happy with 35. That's what I would recommend. DLSS model, transformer. Go with transformer, not CNN. Go with transformer. Frame generation. Entirely up to you. Now, to me, I could turn on frame generation. If I do that, I actually gain like 70 frames per second. But bear in mind, as I said earlier, I only have a 200 Hz refresh rate screen. I can't physically see more than 200 frames anyway. I'm regularly at that 200 frames per second, sometimes creep over. Why do I need frame generation? I don't. So I don't recommend it. If you've got a lower spec card, maybe you want to turn it on, but I have it off. AMD FSR, I have it off. I don't have an AMD graphics card. Ray tracing reflections, I have it off. I am not bothered about reflections or what they look like. Okay, you might be, but I have them off. That will really, really help your frames per second. VRAM scale, set at 85. Okay, that's my personal recommendation. Now, these are the interesting ones, and you can look at these and go, what? This is going to make the game look ugly. It really, really doesn't. Texture resolution, I play at normal. Absolutely fine. If you're on a lower spec graphics card, set it as low, okay? 3060, 4060, 5060, maybe put it as low, but normal, it's absolutely fine. Texture filter, low. I do not mind about texture filtering. Again, the game looks great, and I'll show you some gameplay so you can see. Depth of field, turn it off. I think it's a waste of time. I do not use it, do not need it. Detail quality, it's up to you, but for example, I just play on normal. I don't need it on low. I don't need it on high. I have got a 5070. However, if you've got a 5060 or a 4060 or a 3060, put it on low. You don't want to put it on high. It will kill some frames per second. Particle resolution, put it on low. I don't know why you need to see sparks and stuff and explosions in games. Doesn't bother me. I just want to see the other players so I can kill them easier. Bullet impacts, entirely up to you. It makes a minimal frames per second difference. I have it on. You could turn it off if you wanted to. Persistent effects, turn it off. Absolutely, why do you want to see explosions and things all the time? Turn it off. Okay, shader quality, I have it on low. And again, a shader, shadow, sorry, shader. Can't talk. I have it on low, okay? I don't have it on medium or high. I don't see the point in it. I have it on low. I have so many things on low, you'll be surprised. On-demand texture streaming, minimal. Local texture streaming quality, low. In-game video quality, low. Shadow quality, very low. Screen space shadows, off. Occlusion screen space lighting, off. Screen space reflections, off. I don't mind if there's not a reflection in a puddle of some water, off. Static reflection quality, low. Terrain quality, low. Volumetric lighting, low. Deferred physics quality, off. Weather grid quality, off. I don't care if the snow looks more solid than fluffy individual flakes. Water quality, off. Again, I don't care about reflections. So that's how I have mine set up. The final thing, if you're a first-person shooter player, get used to playing the game on the widest field of view that you can play at. I honestly, by default, these are normally set at like 90. And I played Apex Legends for years. I didn't even realize. And I was like, why does my gameplay seem so slow? Whack it up to the full field of view. The game will seem quicker, but more importantly, you'll be able to see more players and at wider field of view. It will take a bit of getting used to with your aiming, and if you're playing on a really large screen, maybe you do want to do a smaller field of view, but 27-inch monitor or smaller, go with a wide field of view. That's it. I won't go into my control settings because it's all personal. And what I'm going to do quickly, I'm going to load into a very quick game just so you can see my gameplay. Well, not my gameplay, because my gameplay will be shocking because I'm freezing and I haven't played anything today. but I'm going to show you how the game looks. Now I have my performance monitor up here on the top. You can see my FPS in the menus is going to be anywhere between like 110, 120 because I set that frame rate limit. My GPU is freezing at the moment, 51 degrees. You can see my clock on my GPU, the core clock, my VRAM usage. Now bear in mind I set that threshold to like less than half of what I've got. So I'd expect it to be about 40 to 50%. But just have a look at the game. Okay, guys, I think the game still looks beautiful, even with those settings. Look how sharp it looks. It's not ugly. Still plenty of detail on the floor. Other players look great. They stand out great. I don't think, and look at my frames per second at the top left. 180, 190, creeping over 200. I've absolutely nailed it in terms of... That's annoying. I could have got 2 kills there. Luckily, that guy did save me. Oh, he got me. You know what I'm going to do, though? Actually, I've been testing out a new SMG, and I'm going to jump into that profile. This may not be the right map for it. There's a guy just there. Look, he's just creeping around. He's ran all the way around to our spawn. He's going to get some kills. Yes, he is with my aiming. I am so cold. I can barely feel my hands. So my gameplay is going to be shocking. So please ignore the gameplay. Just look at the game. And look at that frames per second in the top left. So the GP is warmed up to 60, which is barely anything. I don't know if I actually like this SMG or not. I've just been testing it out just to see. I don't think it's going to have enough range on this map. Oh, I don't believe that. I've died 3 times. What am I doing? Okay. I'm normally alright this game, but look, we've got up to 200 FPS there. The game is silky smooth. And that, to me, that's what it's all about in these kind of games. Like, you don't need like 300 FPS, but at the same point, it's all about a smooth frame graph. I literally can't aim, can I? I'm so cold. I know I'm making excuses, but my reaction time is so slow. But it's more about the game, okay? I promise you I'm not normally this bad. I normally play with one of our customers called Frogbar. He knows I'm normally a lot better than this. I promise you. But we'll keep running the game. We'll see if we can get to at least a net 0 KD. That'd be nice. Oh, there's a guy behind me. I did get a kill, but that's good. So occasionally we're going to drop down to like 180 at busy periods. But that is still plenty of FPS. I mean, bear in mind that consoles are sometimes locked at 60. Yeah, this is not a good gun choice on this map because it does not have enough range. I need to do the running around the back method. Which is basically sprint to the... and try and pincer them in the middle. That's the plan. Here we go, hello. Okay. That worked. Let's go and sneak in here. See if we can get to their spawn. Oh, I did get all the way to the spawn, but I died, which is even more depressing. Oh dear. I thought he was a teammate. That's so funny. Oh my god. It's been a busy week, guys. That guy comes power sliding down like a maniac. It's been a busy week. I'm tired. Oh, hello. Oh, no. This is a pretty poor performance so far. I'm not going to lie. But the PC is killing it. And honestly, guys, I recently changed to a 5070, and I am blown away by how good it is at 1440p gaming. And it should be, because it is not a cheap GPU. Obviously, there's a 5070 Ti. If you can get to the 5070 Ti, budget-wise, I would thoroughly recommend it. I think it is pretty much one of the strongest graphics cards out there at the moment. That and the 9070 XT from AMD are amazing cards. The only thing I would say is the 9070 XT at the moment is better value, whereas, of course, you could argue that the tech on the 5070, 5070 Ti is better. However, if you're a first-person player like this, I wouldn't recommend having most of that on anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. I'm really not playing well here, guys. I think I'm going to change back to a AR because I just can't deal with the embarrassment, if I'm honest. Maybe I should have jumped in like a Warzone game. I'm going to be shooting at teammates. Let's see what we can do. Okay, that's a bit better. Ah, I'm right at the bottom of the rankings. But as you can see, guys, we are not dropping below 180. It's very rarely. I don't think it's gone to 1.7. GPU is at 62 degrees. That's a bit better. I actually got a headshot. That's a pleasant change. Let's go running down here. It's usually quite busy down here. Let's chuck a grenade. There we go. Told you. It's always busy down there. He's going to come back down the stairs now. People always do that. I do that. It's so funny. We all do that. We know there's someone there. You dodge the first few shots, and then you just creep back because you think, I'm going to get him. Someone's coming around here. I can hear him. Ah, no. I'm up to a net 0 on the KD now, so that's not too bad, considering he died like 5 times in the first few seconds. So the embarrassment is a bit... Jesus, what just happened there? No! How did I not get that kill? Oh, that was horrific. Do you know what? I really should have done a bit of a warm-up play before I did this video, just so I didn't embarrass myself. I mean, that guy's got like... Oh, I've got packet burst. That'll be it. Internet's. You get packet burst, it's usually down to your internet, guys. It's not the PC, it's the internet. Now I am... Let's get these annoying, irritating little flying bots going. This really annoys some people. Wow! That guy! Action man. Jesus. He was jumping around like a maniac. Whoa! I'm up to 3rd. I mean, I actually put that down to my teammates. They must be shocking. Probably a waste of a grenade there, but... Oh, hello! What are you doing, you weirdo? What a lunatic! I don't trust this. I think... Yeah, I knew there'd be people there. Oh, we lost. But I got a positive KD. Anyway, guys, as you can see, GPU got to a maximum 63 degrees. And FPS was great. So I hope this helps. If you ever fancy a game of COD or Warzone, give me a shout. I am going to try and do a bit more gaming. But we've been so busy. But thank you so much. I'll share this with the Discord channel. I'll share it with my customers. And thank you so much. I hope to catch you all very soon.